No matter what motivates you to nibble mushrooms or drink ayahuasca tea, sooner or later you're going to have an encounter with the dragons and the demons in your soul, and that what you must do is not run away.
We're going to gather and we're going to exercise our First Amendment rights to gather and to speak. And we're going to create a space for other women to speak and be respected in that space.
Because life goes by very quickly, and I feel like in this day and age, we don't spend enough time pausing, interacting, and reflecting on what it is that we want to accomplish as a collective and how we want to get there.
Healing justice asks that we make our healing political, that our movements, whether it be drug policy, reform, reproductive justice, should all be healing, not harming.
Harm reduction approaches drug use on a spectrum, and it recognizes that abstinence isn't for everyone. And so it meets people where they're at.
I, as are many of us in this room, am in the business of ending drug criminalization in its entirety in a way that works for all of us and doesn't leave anyone behind.
So how do you do it? Because I tell you what, it's much different than the Schoolhouse Rock video. I needed Republicans, I needed Democrats, I needed Libertarians, I needed Green Partiers, I needed atheists, I needed theists, I needed people who were members of the church, who weren't members of the church. It was a time to drop labels.
Like, we spend so much of our time and energy working with people who you'd expect to be opposing this work, but who end up kind of really rapidly shifting their perspective once they get access to the data and once they realize that the problems that we're trying to solve are not ones that are necessarily localized to one specific population, but rather something that's more broad.
So in order to see a huge shift, you need to get buy-in by people who may not naturally see what you see and hear what you hear and have the experiences that you experience.
That's the discipline in science. It's not just, I want something, I'm right. So how are you going to win? You go talk to your cousins. I'll talk to my cousins.
We need to do coalition building. We need to build trust. Remember, we started this organization because we weren't being heard, right? So we have to be open to hearing other people, and that's going to take time, and it's not going to always be easy.
Dealing with your shadow can be done bit by bit, or it can be done by working intensively with a therapist or spiritual guide, or both. You can use psychedelics, or hypnotherapy, or dream work, or all of them together, or none of them.
I tell people, just get to the garden so you can listen. Just show up how you are. Whatever you got, just go to the garden and just wait and listen. You know, you show up and the grandmothers are already waiting for you.
We take for granted that the system works, right? And we all know that it's not working because we are where we are.
We've got work to do, and maybe in some of our lifetimes we can see somewhere where we actually can, like, take a step back, take a breather.
We've got a lot of challenges ahead of us.
We need to continue to change policy.
Unless we are actively and persistently dismantling these constructs, we are abiding by them.
And that's because we're building a more compassionate and more understanding world, and I truly believe that.
Reach out to these conservative states. We can heal our country again if we have some compassion.
Don't forget the story and the journey is about you. I can only be well if you are well.
When we work with our own communities, we're doing shadow work.
You can't do this work. You certainly shouldn't try if you haven't done the work on your own shadow.